What's up, everyone?
Fourth and one.
Love that.
Our sports podcast.
The New York Football Giants. Love that.
What's up, everybody? This is episode number 20 of Fourth and One Sports Podcast.
Here we go.
Fourth and One is presented to you by Why Am I a Nerd Podcast Network, where everyone is a nerd about something. My name is Sean Farrell, and sitting opposite of me is the golden voice of podcasting, Mr. Michigan, Matthew Pereira.
Go
And
Blue.
Back from his constant works of charity is Anthony Statman.
What's up?
On this episode of Fourth and One, we are back to talk our New York Football Giants. I'd probably say that a little lower, so be a little more
Hey, we still got to talk about them. They're still our team, even though they hate us so much.
Talk about someone that hates something. We're also going to talk about the late hit heard around the world, or the group chat. Former free agent Antonio Brown, the state of the Dallas Cowboys, the return of Matt's Michigan Wolverines, and, of course, some more NFL talk. Before we get into all of that, Matt, where can they find us?
If you weren't sure and you want to double check, you can find us on Instagram at Why Am I a Nerd Official. That's WHY, the letter A, the letter M, the letter I, a Nerd Official. On Facebook and YouTube at Why Am I a Nerd, spelled the same way. And on Twitter at Fourth, that's the number 4, THANDWON pod.
Please rate, and review us wherever you enjoy your listening watching.
I was all proud of myself for nailing. Please rate, review, and subscribe. We need the subscription so we can have an actual name on YouTube that I can read off to you with this golden voice I've been blessed with. So please hurry up, get into it, subscribe. You know you love us. You know you want more.
What have you guys been up to?
God, nothing.
I
hate to say it.
I actually hate to admit this. I got a ton of sleep on Sunday. Because the Giants weren't playing, I didn't feel, I guess, as committed to all the 1 o'clock games. And I was like, oh, okay, I'm going to rest my eyes for a little bit. I woke up at 5 and I was like, holy shit, I missed everything. But at the same time, I felt amazing. And it took the sting off this possible 100-point loss I'm going to have in fantasy in my big league.
That's tough. 100-point loss.
Dude, I was going up against Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and Tyler Lockett, and 3 of my players combined for less than 10 points. I'm taking it in the booty hole. It is rough.
We do have someone in our group that, while they say the league is rigged, they make these miraculous moves, like keeping Antonio Brown as a roster spot the whole season.
He drafted Antonio Brown and kept him, and it somehow pans out to the point that there's rumors out that Tom Brady was asked to throw to different receivers in training camp for the Patriots because him and what's-his-face were connecting so often. Like, what the fuck? Him and AB, this clown.
Look, I know everyone's pumped up about it. Another target for Tom Brady. I mean, the Buccaneers are looking pretty good right now. Their defense is just stacked up front. They have all these weapons that he can go to. Antonio Brown's just going to be another option, but, I mean, he hasn't really played that much football in the past couple of years. And, you're number 1 3 years ago, and you come back. You have a lot of issues, a lot of accusations about what's going on. You have that whole free cryo injury where his feet got burned in the there's just a lot with
I forgot about that one. I honestly forgot about that. That was so weird.
There's a lot with him, but I'm surprised, we never even made that connection. Like, hey, they played together for a couple games. Maybe they had some chemistry now, and that's
I thought AB was done. I thought AB was done in the league. And the last thing the Buccaneers really need is another wide receiver. So I'm stunned by the move, but this is we're going to try and make it to the Super Bowl play. It's exactly what it is.
Yeah, and I heard this point before, and there was always that argument with Tom Brady on, was it him? Was it Belichick? Who's the one that is really driving the show up there? And, Tom Brady's looking pretty good right now in Tampa Bay, and the Patriots are not
Listen, even though Tom Brady went to, as we all know, the greatest school in history, I am going to have to give this to Belichick. I think Belichick really kind of is the reason behind their success for all these years. I mean, taking nothing away from Brady, it definitely adds to Belichick's schemes that he has, the GOAT out there operating. But yeah, I got to give it to Belichick if you're going to choose between the two. So yeah. I think we see.
I mean, it's tough to argue. You can't really, I guess, pan it up to one season that they're not together to look at, the impact that they're each going to have on being apart. So plus,
look at how many Patriots players opted out because of COVID. That's a factor too. There's a lot of guys not there on the field for him.
They have that, and then you have the Buccaneers who are just adding any possible person that will join that team.
Do you get cut? Welcome. Yeah. Come to Tampa Bay.
Fournette, Antonio Brown, they pulled Gronk from the Patriots out of retirement. Mm-hmm. I mean, the list goes on and on there. So I think they also just traded for a defensive tackle on the Jets that was going to just add to their
like a 6th rounder. Yeah. Crazy.
Crazy. But, you're right. They're making that run, and this is we're seeing it happen right now in the NFL. It's a pretty interesting season, especially
this is a weird one
with injuries. So let's talk about former New York Giant, Odell.
You hate to see it. You really do. I almost wonder if him and Barkley are texting each other on the side like this is some bullshit. Just because that sucks, man. Like, see a player that dynamic go down with an ACL injury and wonder what this does for his career, because he's suffered a couple of pretty significant injuries over the last few years that you got to hope he can still keep it going.
Yeah, I mean, for a guy that relies on his athleticism to, make plays downfield, it's a worry we have with Barkley too. It's a guy that's, he's that talented because he's so athletic. Can they bounce back from this? Now, obviously, Odell's a little older than Barkley, and, receivers seem like they can hang around in the league a little longer than running backs, but you don't want to see this happen to a guy when, the Browns potentially can make a run this year and try to get back in the playoffs. And that's a major, major blow for them. You lose Chubb, you lose OBJ. I think there's probably a question about it later, but it's just a tough pill to swallow if you're a Browns fan.
I agree. Which I can't imagine there are too many of those, but either way, it's
actually,
definitely rough.
My buddy who I had send you a message on Saturday night, Cleveland Bob.
Oh, yeah.
He is an Ohio State fan and a Cleveland Browns fan.
Well, nobody's perfect, and definitely not you, Bob. Don't know what to tell you.
I think that provided you some I thought that would provide you some entertainment for the night.
I should have gone on more of a tangent. I had just been asked right before that to be in my friend's wedding, so I was in a very good mood. But, I didn't give my usual fuck Ohio State, but just in case. Fuck Ohio State.
Who's getting married? We can do some shout outs here.
Oh, my buddy Ian is getting married to his now fiance Allie. So shout out to both of them. The wedding is July 17th, which is the day after my birthday. So we're gonna see how this goes.
That's gonna be a good weekend.
I'm officiating it, so we're gonna see how that rolls, because I might be. I cannot get blacked out on my birthdays with this means.
No sleep until 5:00 that day.
Yeah, pretty much.
Hey, I also like to give a wedding shout out to the newly engaged couple, Mr. Dave Kimball. And the stat man knows him.
I love Dave.
Nevada Dave just popped in the question. So this is football and weddings episode.
The nuptial episode. 4th and 1.
I got to go to a wedding this past weekend in an undisclosed location. But I got to see a lot of my buddies. So I was with Snacks McGuigan in the flesh.
Snacks McGuigan makes a live action appearance.
And the man said Mondays are busy for payroll. I said, hey, we're doing an episode tonight. He got me a whole trivia and like 50 questions. So it was good.
I was gonna ask who was Snacks' +1 to that. Was it Timmy Whalen?
No. Unfortunately, it was not. But we did talk about them starting a dojo together. So that did come up, and He did also talk about, unrelated to ever even bring this up, he was talking about Cobra Kai with someone for most of the wedding. So he's a huge fan. I think he's probably going to be on the next season.
Just appear.
Speaking of Timmy Whalen, Was it a late hit or was it legal? What was it? Let's make the ruling right now.
Oh my God. So, I hate Deshaun Jackson. He's a rat fuck piece of shit.
So do I.
But from most of the angles, except for the one that the Finns dude just deemed worthy to share multiple times. Actually, hey, can we get a time check? Because we'll put this picture up. We'll ask Cam to put it up right here.
Cameron has a time check.
All right. Well, we're gonna guess. We're gonna try and get that picture up for those watching on YouTube. But I think from every angle, other than the one that the Finns dude sent it did look like he might have been just like rolling to get back up. So I think I forget who the tackler was for the Giants. I think he was just kind of doing mop up duty, making sure it was down. Once the flag got thrown, I saw the replay. I was like, no, we definitely deserve to have that flag thrown. Somehow, in our 4th and 1 fantasy group chat, this turned into the greatest argument between two people in the history of arguments between two people in that fantasy league. To the other 10 people just sitting by as innocent bystanders getting their phone blown up as it was just volley and volley between the Finns dude and Tim Whalen.
Oh my God. I'm looking at some of the low blows.
Oh, they're taking shots at each other. I'm like, these guys have played on football teams together. They're friends. I'm like, what is happening right now?
Timmy Whalen also, I thought it was funny, but I was like, at the end, I was like, all right, this is getting out of hand. He's like, maybe you should get Football for Dummies. And he's like, I'm sure you already have it, to somebody else. And it was just like, I was cracking up because at this point I'm driving to this wedding. I left my phone, like before we left the house, I had just left my phone charging. And within 10 minutes, I went back. There was like 54 messages.
Just ding, 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 ding.
It was
just going
my wife was like, who is texting you right now? Cameron Miami Cam side texts me. He's like, who's arguing right now? He's like, this is getting intense. He obviously didn't save anyone's numbers in there, but it was intense. But I mean, yeah. It was funny too. It was definitely entertaining. I know we side text. Should we tell them to like get their own text message?
Yeah, we're like, do we intervene? Yeah.
But I was just
I would have honestly loved to see that on the show. Yeah. Just let it ride.
Well, I was like, you're like, let's do it on the show. I was like, I'm not moderating that. Like, I do not want to be in the middle of those two guys. You'll not get a word in. It'll be like watching that first presidential debate.
Who's got to start muting mics?
Yeah, neither of them were going to admit
defeat. They're just going to go.
Yeah, they weren't even going to like say, hey, maybe you're right. Let me look at it again. It was like, no way.
Yeah, it's like when I saw the first time was what happened.
Oh man, but yeah, it was entertaining. Some of the thing I like, it's those things like that we started this podcast that now we got to experience on the side just from starting the league.
It's just amazing.
I'm happy they actually like know each other because if they didn't, then I'd be like, uh-oh.
Yeah, I'd be like, we got a problem. No, they definitely know each other.
That might just create in the future for the fantasy league rivalry week. Those two just matched up.
Yeah,
they just matched up.
I wonder actually who's playing each other this week. I wonder. Imagine if it's the two of them.
I'm playing Timmy this week.
Oh, are you?
Yeah, I'm crushing him.
I was going to say, when they do play, that's who we could just say that settles the debate.
That's rival. Yeah.
I don't know if they played yet, but that's what we can put it up to. Whoever wins that matchup, that's who's right.
I like it.
On a lighter note, the return of your Michigan Wolverines in Big Ten football. Did Saturday feel different for you this Saturday?
Oh my God! Hold on, wait. I took this off so I could have a moment to put it back on. Saturday felt great. That 7:30 kickoff, just knowing there's something to look forward to. And my God, the Michigans actually performed better than they normally do in openers and against a ranked opponent. So once more, loud and true, go Blue. I fucking loved it. It was great to see. Joe Milton looks good out there. Hope we see continued improvement throughout the season. And God help me, I hope we fuck Ohio State up. I hope we just continue to get there and just destroy them.
I mean, the best thing for college football now is to have those two teams, battling for that Big Ten chance to get into that Big Ten title game.
It's going to
happen this year, way later than it normally does. I think they play in like December
12th, if I'm not mistaken.
So it's going to be ice cold, freezing. Yep. I mean, you couldn't ask for more. I mean, we need more football, and hopefully everyone stays healthy with the return of the Big Ten.
Yep.
It'll be interesting to see because you can't really. I was talking this about Clemson and the ACC when I was talking to a couple of my buddies, and you can't gauge how good a team is when they're only playing those conference games against those other conferences. We don't have, those out-of-conference big matchups this year.
Yeah.
So, the best team's going to win in the conference. They're going to advance to the college playoff, and then you're going to really get to see.
Are they still going to do a college playoff? I thought that was going to kind of be.
They are going to do it. And the Big Ten, obviously, they started now. They're not going to wait till the spring, so they are eligible.
Wow.
I think,
let's go.
We think, obviously the favorite is Ohio State, but if Michigan keep rolling, doing what they did.
To win the Big Ten or to win the
Big Ten. I think I'm pretty sure they released the polls and they already just popped Ohio State right at number 3.
Yeah. I think they opened at 3 or 4. So yeah, that's fair enough.
Yeah, which is what they were going to start at if it was like an actual college football season. They were going to be the top 3 or 4 or 5.
Yeah, well, it's they're pieces of shit. They're the bad guys. We might be the underdogs in this, but everybody loves a good underdog story. Go Blue.
Yeah. So we're going to talk some NFL. We actually had an original plan here. We were going to have a special guest on for our 20th episode. But due to a hot water crisis, he'll have to be pushed back at a later date. And it was going to be the return of trivia tonight. We had a one-on-one matchup. I won't give you the category, but it was appropriate for this episode.
Yeah, I've been getting my ass kicked in these trivia categories. So I definitely need a chance to come back against someone.
Maybe we should just bring in not worthy opponents and let you boost the confidence.
It's gotta be worthwhile. I need to if I'm gonna beat someone, it's gotta be someone good.
We should have the Finns dude and Timmy trivia.
That's
football knowledge.
Oh my God, that would be epic.
The tiebreaker, was it a late hit? Whoa. I don't know what's going on. I hope this doesn't make the podcast, but Miami Cam is something he's putting in the
Speaking of a hot water crisis, someone's in some hot water apparently.
In his own words, he's putting the laundry in the basket. And on that note, let's get into some NFL questions. Shout out to Snacks McGuigan for giving me enough content to rearrange the episode here, and it's all working out, so it's good. It's all good.
Right.
Appreciate that, Snacks.
Kyler Murray versus Russell Wilson did not disappoint last night. What did you think of the game? Has Arizona become a contender in the NFC? Do you think they can win the West?
Definitely a contender.
Since you slept till 5, did you watch the whole game?
I did, because I had Kyler Murray starting, so I was hoping he could try and resurrect my season as, Tyler Lockett just laid it on for me. Yeah. But he did play incredibly well. Couldn't be happier with Kyler Murray's performance. So I think Arizona definitely cemented themselves as an NFC contender. However, I don't think they'll win the West. I do believe they'll earn themselves a wild card spot, especially with the extra slot available.
Yeah, the West is weird because I don't know who's going to win it at this point. You have an up and down San Fran team that I can't really gauge how good they are.
Yeah, I don't know what to think about it because now they might get rid of Jimmy G.
Yeah, so I don't know what they're doing, but the Seahawks obviously, they beat Arizona last night. I think obviously they're the number 1 team. We got the Rams and the Bears on right now as we're recording this, and the Rams are also a hard team to figure out because I just don't know what they are. They almost lose.
Sometimes they're good, sometimes they're not.
They almost lose to our New York Giants. They're probably playing a good team in the Bears here, but they just don't look like the team that's going to advance from that division. But you never know. I mean, they do have a lot of talented players.
Very true.
I don't know though. I think the Seahawks still have it. I think, yes, last night Kyler somehow surpassed what Russell did because they both had phenomenal games.
It was nuts. And the fact that it came down to a kicker, Seattle's no longer undefeated, but you can't really feel too bad about that, all things considered. They played a great game. It didn't really come down to any errors they made.
Right.
There's just the overtime rules kind of screwed them.
Yeah, and I mean, Hey, they played by the rules. They got the win. Hats off to Arizona. They have looked better in the last couple games. I think it's gonna be a tight race, the NFC West there, though.
Oh yeah,
I don't have a prediction right now, but I think
the
Seattle
exact opposite of the East.
Exactly. Yes. And don't worry, we're definitely going to get to our NFC East teams a little later. But let's go to number 2 here.
The dumpster fire. Herbert has been tearing it up for the Chargers so far in his rookie season. Are you impressed with this rookie's first couple of performances? How excited should Chargers fans be about future in LA?
I mean, they should be ecstatic.
Yeah.
They should be. I mean, Herbert was a guy that was 2 years ago was predicted to be number 1 pick.
He could have gone to the Giants. Yep.
And he decided to go back to school, and then he kind of fell off a little bit as far as like draft potential. And honestly, I did not think he was going to be this good at all.
No, I didn't think so. But the Chargers were, one of the most teams ready for a new quarterback. It was almost plug and play at that point. Like they had a ton of talent in every position. So, I mean, good for him. Is really what it comes down to. Like, he's exceeding expectations. He's playing well. He's got to be in the mix, if not the lead, for Rookie of the Year.
Yeah,
I would think, or Offensive Rookie of the Year.
I mean, yes, they did play the lowly Jaguars, who at one point were in that game, and I got a little nervous because we picked them in our Survivor pool, and I thought the Chargers were going to lose. But the guy stepped up, and he's making great throws downfield. He was doing some work with his legs, getting out of the pocket, and I think he rushed for a touchdown as well. I mean, it's like these teams, the Chargers, while they never had that much success in the playoffs, they go from Phil Rivers and they're a contender every year. They draft this guy. Potentially, he could have went to some teams earlier, but he didn't. And he shows up and he's the next best thing. And that just makes you mad. That just makes you mad as a Giants fan, just because they draft this guy at I think he was like 7th pick or something. And
I thought it was 8th or 9th.
I mean,
let's look
stat
this
man,
up.
stat man.
Yeah. What am I doing here?
But it's just one of those things where the Chargers also they keep a lot of the guys they draft. So maybe it's that the general manager department that they're just crushing it on their scouting.
Yeah,
so we're going to talk about some bad general managers later who might no longer be with a said team, but
we should be so lucky as to see that come to pass.
Yeah,
6th overall.
Oh wow!
Because I think it was like the Dolphins picked Tua before him.
Mm-hmm.
So they picked Tua over him. I mean, obviously we'll see what Tua does, but I mean, Herbert. If you're a Chargers fan, you gotta be pumped. You gotta be pumped. Let's go to number 3.
Joey Burrow put on a show in his loss to the Browns. He seems to have connected well with fellow rookie T. Higgins. How soon do you see the Bengals become a contender in a tough AFC North?
I mean, you got that quarterback there, and he looks pretty good as a rookie.
Yeah, I mean, and one of the things we've seen from a lot of these teams that get into these good windows to open the doors on dynasties, or at least to get to the Super Bowl, is they have a young quarterback under his rookie contract. So I think if the Bengals are gonna do it, they need to start putting pieces together right now. They need to be active in free agency. They need to make a couple moves, and within a year or two, they could be potential contenders. I think this is I stand by. It's the end for the Steelers. They're performing beyond expectations this year, but Roethlisberger's obviously not going to last that much longer. I think it's been reinvigorated by some of the weapons there. But do we see Mason Rudolph carrying that ship? We're seeing Lamar Jackson get a little bit exposed, not completely. I still think they're going to morph that offense and suit it to his strengths, but there's definitely opportunity for the Bengals to rise up if they capitalize on what's available for them with this, this whole NFL landscape here and just make the right moves. They could be contenders quickly.
Yeah, I mean, they have Boyd, T. Higgins as their receivers. You got Joe Mixon as a running back. I think if they solidify that defense or the offensive line a little more, give Joe Burrow some time to throw.
Yeah,
the sky's the limit. They have the young weapons there, and it's another crazy thing. You look at how they drafted. They have all these guys these offensive weapons that are sticking with the team.
Yeah,
and then you have teams that can't figure it out.
Did you see that clip online of AJ Green saying he wanted to get traded?
Yeah, I mean, I
It's
think
a lot
AJ
of conjecture.
Yeah, I mean, he's come off a major injury. He's still pretty young, but he's, for football age, he's older.
Yeah.
Look, the Bengals aren't going to do it this year, so if you can go and turn AJ Green into some type of draft pick, some type of value, he's at the end of his line there. I think it's a good move for them. You already have, T. Higgins and Tyler Boyd filling in that spot, getting those receptions. So
Yep.
It might not be a bad move. I think he was obviously one of the rumored tradable players based on his current situation, and I guess how happy he is in Cincinnati. But he's also a lifetime Bengal. You kind of like to see those guys stay.
Yeah, that's sure. You'd think they'd kind of make the move to hold on to him.
But they got to do what they got to do for the future. If they're smart, they'll make the right move, whether it is to keep him or trade him. So we'll see what happens. Let's go to the next question, talking about another AFC North team here.
Browns and Baker have looked inconsistent this year. They have a 5-2 record, but were dominated by division rivals Ravens and Steelers. Now with OBJ and Chubb out, how do you think the Browns' offense will look going forward? Will Baker be more successful without the pressure of having to get OBJ the ball?
I don't know if that's Baker's issue, to be 100% honest. I think Baker's kind of in his own head. I think he's nervous about living up to his own hype, and he's, a big talking guy. So I think that's kind of impacting him here a little bit. Can't see losing. Oh, sorry.
Let's look past, like, this week he throws 5 touchdowns. The week before he got benched, like in the third quarter. You see the potential there, but the Browns are just so you don't know what you're going to get with them, really. I mean, let's see. I think actually Baker Mayfield said it himself last week. He was like 4-2 has never felt more like 0-6 because they're just not playing great football.
Yeah.
It's just they're playing against teams that they get to play against the NFC East this year. So that's basically 4 wins right there.
Well, maybe not, because I would have put money down that Odell was going to absolutely shred the Giants. Like, I was going to bet on that prior to that game. Like, I was willing to do it. Excuse me. We're not going to see it now. So who really knows what that does? Like, that might give us a little bit more of a shot. Excuse me, because I'm sure as hell not scared of Rashard Higgins. I pray to God I don't eat my words on that. Knock on wood. But
Rashard Higgins, he'll be known as the Giant Killer after this season.
Right? Could you imagine?
He'll take the stat man's team name. Yeah, I don't know, man. I mean, the Browns, they're a couple pieces away from really having it. They're just too inconsistent. Like, you just don't see them do the same thing week to week. It's just, you play a good team, you look terrible. You play a bad team, you look great. I mean, it's tough to say. You're not gonna go far unless you get hot in the playoffs, and now you're down, your top 2 weapons. So
yeah,
they still have some things they can do there, but I don't know. It's tough to see them really moving forward this season where they're at as far as roster wise and injury wise. Let's go to number 5.
Pittsburgh is the only undefeated team left. Do the Steelers have all the pieces to make a deep playoff run? Are they the best all-around team in the NFL right now?
I don't think they're the best all-around team in the NFL. I mean, look, you have a great defense. That's going to take them pretty far. The offense is suspect, I think. I mean, you got an aging Big Ben. Their offensive line is subpar. Their running game seems to be inconsistent.
Fluky at best, yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I hate to bet against Big Ben if he's healthy because the guy is a winner. But it's just hard to see them beating, a team like Baltimore down the road, especially if it's a division rival that, Baltimore has the weapons on offense. They do have a solid defense. Who else could they beat? Look at a team like we'll talk about a little later. Miami Camp's Titans. They did just beat them.
They look good, yeah.
But the Titans also had multiple opportunities to take that game. It's one of those things where there's just teams you look at and they're just more impressive this year so far on that side of the ball. Even though the Steelers are undefeated.
And was that not? Correct me if I'm wrong. Wasn't that a short week for the Titans? Like, then they play on Monday night, and then that's a factor there too. Like,
yeah, I don't know. I just the Steelers while they're winning games you're not just like, wow, the Steelers, like they're gonna
you're
crush
like,
them.
whoa, they're like, oh, Steelers won. Like, yeah, it's kind of one of those, like, even against the Giants, like they beat us, but like I wasn't blown away by it completely. I was more just like, damn, their defense is really good. Their offense, I was like, they're not completely blowing me away.
Yeah.
Juju got open on a couple plays, but it wasn't like,
Yeah, I mean they do have young weapons on offense, so there is potential for them to, obviously improve and get better. They're going to be a playoff team. I don't know if they're the best undefeated team or they're the only undefeated team. I don't know if they're the best team now. So I guess time will tell. I think you need to see the season mature a little more.
Agreed.
Now the moment you've all been waiting for. Let's talk about these Dallas Cowboys.
I don't really want to, but here we go. With Dak out with an ankle injury and Dalton literally knocked out of this last game, what are your thoughts on the Cowboys now? What should they do at quarterback? Do they trade for a current backup who could start like a Trubisky or Fitzpatrick? Are they still a contender in the NFC East?
Let's go right to the stat, man. What do you think? What's going on here? I mean, this – and not just from just being a Giants fan, but just the loss to the Washington football team this past week has to be like a low point for you as a Dallas fan. Just a team, like another team that's down and out, and they just can't get the job done or even move the ball.
Yeah, their offensive line is hurt, so they have all their backups in who just aren't blocking for Dalton at all. I mean, I don't know if you guys watched the game, but he was getting fired up, yelling at his lineman on the sideline, just like going after him. And Zeke, like, what the hell's going on with him? He caused that
interception, yeah.
Like, I think you sent the big eyeball emoji to the group
I was
chat.
like, what is he doing?
Previously, he had the 2 fumbles. Like, when you look at them, it looks like they don't care anymore.
Yeah.
They're just all right. Let's do it.
That was a rumor that I had heard. On Bleacher Reporter, there was a report out that the team doesn't like the coaching so far this year, or they don't like the changes they made, and they're not really like buying into what the coaches want them to do. And if that's the truth, it shows on the field. You can see that.
Oh yeah.
There's let's talk about you can look at the Giants, and they're arguably way less talented, but for some reason they're into the coach, and you can see them kind of like at least trying. Where you watch the Cowboys and like they should at least be able to move. I mean, Dalton's like, it's not like they just pulled him off the street. Like the guy was starting for
Dalton
years.
and he wasn't terrible in Cincinnati. He just didn't really have that much to go along with him. So yeah, you do kind of got to question what's going on there with their coaching staff and their motivation. I will say, not shocked to see Zeke doing poorly. Went to a terrible college. Throw that out there.
Yeah, I mean, he's just kind of – I mean, I get it too, because like when your whole offensive line's done and you're used to just running wherever you want because you had some of the best offensive linemen in the league, and now there's nowhere to go. Like, it has to be frustrating for a running back. I mean, you could ask Saquon Barkley. It's just not – there's nowhere to go for him. Like, and when you're down, you have to throw the ball, and – Zeke's not the best pass catcher, but still he's making like the mistakes. He's just not locked in right now. It's bizarre.
Yeah,
and I know Miami Cam's going to tell you, this guy's not doing shit for me. The text message every Sunday.
Every single time. Every single.
He'll put up 20 to 30 points every other week, but this week. Hey, I told him I'd trade for him. But he doesn't want to do it, so.
Do you think the problem is at quarterback though? Like, do they need to make a move and bring somebody in? I mean,
I don't think that's the main problem though. I think they're just having problems everywhere.
It's motivation. Yeah.
It's so scattered right now that they can't focus on just the quarterback. I mean, I'd like to see the rookie get in, start him next game, see what happens.
At this point, what do you have to lose?
Exactly. DiNucci. That's his name, DiNucci. Put him in. See what happens.
Yeah. Who do they have? Is it the Eagles? Is that the matchup, I think?
Sorry, I just saw Cameron walk in with his hair.
Yeah, like this. I wish we could actually get that on.
I thought that was the girl from The Ring. Being
What fuckers?
It was so.
Looks like Aquaman just lost some weight. Just came back on here. Jason Momoa.
Oh man, you're giving him a lot of credit there.
Jason Momoa doesn't benefit.
How was doing the laundry?
Took a shower, did some laundry, got a bubbly, got
Nice.
some banana fingers.
Nice, a buble.
Michael Bublé. Fuck you, Matt.
At this point, though, the Cowboys.
What did I do?
Not
And this-
you.
Oh,
That's from Alphabet of Gold. Tune in for the Buble reference.
Oh, all right. Excuse me. I was
But
like,
at this point, you could take a wet Cameron James and throw him at quarterback.
Yes.
And he might do better out there than these guys are doing now.
But before we end on the Cowboys, do you guys get ESPN notifications, like major news and stuff?
I do, but I don't see anything major up here.
Yeah, well, since, I'm a Cowboy fan, I get their news. This is what I just received. Cowboys defensive coordinator Mike Nolan accidentally gets hot sauce in his eye during conference call. Ow.
That's just how the seasons go.
Exactly.
Oh, my
That,
God.
that sums it up right there. So
That's rough.
thanks a lot, Mike Nolan. Our defense is horrible. Put hot sauce in your other eye too, you jerk.
God damn.
Well, before we get away from them, are they going? Is this it? Are they done contending the lowly?
Yeah, I think so. I think, yeah.
You're also looking at a top 10 pick. You're right in line with us.
Right. Yeah. Right now we are.
And
Yeah,
I don't even know
at this rate.
And I don't even know what they would do. With that top 10 pick. Are they going to sign Dak? I think you have to sign the guy. I mean,
Yeah.
He just proved it. And being hurt, he's showing his value right now.
Right. Go for it. I'm telling you again. I'm saying it again. Go for a defensive secondary. We're getting blown apart in the backfield. Gotta do it.
Your running
Right.
back sucks too.
Bro, it was 1 week.
Right on cue. He does not disappoint.
Oh,
Talk
shit.
about your quarterback that you have for your fantasy. What did he get you? Negative. So I don't want to talk about it.
My headphones were off. What?
I said let's talk about your fantasy quarterback. Yeah. All right. Let's move on to the next question.
He's gonna electrocute himself with his hair being all wet with his headphones on. Now what's going on? All right, let's go to the next.
Tampa Bay.
Speaking of Cameron's quarterback, were the Patriots and Cam a fluke in the first couple games? Is Cam on a COVID hangover? Do you think he will bounce back, or was benching him in yesterday's game a sign of the way the rest of the New England season will go?
I don't know, man. It's tough to say. Like, he just seemed like he couldn't do anything.
He was just off. Yeah, they might have schemed for him really well. I mean, it's just Cam. I feel like has these games every now and then where he's really good, and then other times he's just like really bad. So I think this was just his bad game of the season. We obviously know Bill Belichick isn't going to stand for that kind of thing. So we'll see if he, improves, really gets his shit together going forward. But New England fans are not used to losing. I'm in a group chat with a couple of them, and they were not happy with this game. And it's you almost, but not quite at all, feel bad for them because they don't know what it's like to lose, and it's almost like, you welcome to earth. This is how the rest of us feel all the time. Welcome to the years I had under Ben McAdoo, aside from that one playoff run. Like, just fuck everything.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's not that it's karma or anything, but yeah, they're getting a taste of what it's like to not have a Super Bowl quarterback for the past how many years.
Yeah, seriously.
And Cam is a Super Bowl quarterback, but there's a reason that he wasn't getting signed in other places. That the Patriots, we talked about this in the early episodes of 4th and 1. The Patriots picked him up for barely anything to come and try to run that offense.
I think he's only getting like $1 million, which sounds crazy. He's only getting $1 million.
And over the last 2 games, he's not helping himself for a bigger contract. And I do like Cam Newton as far as like a character. An influence in the league, someone that's trying to do good for, the community and stuff, but he's not doing himself any favors, to stay around in the league if this is how it's going to go for them.
Agreed.
And it's not just like, and it's not like that division is that amazing either. They could have a chance to make the playoffs if they can try to pull something together here. But I don't know. It's just tough to see with, you mentioned before all the guys that opted out, and, you have a completely different quarterback running the show. It's a huge change. Huge change. You're seeing it with the Cowboys. You're seeing it with, a lot of teams. So it's not just you take that main cog away and, things just aren't exactly the same. Let's go and talk about Miami Cam's Titans.
Titans finally lose a game, but are off to a great start this season. Do you consider the Titans a real contender this year? Where would you rank them in the AFC? And should Tannehill or Henry be the MVP discussion?
They're definitely a contender.
100%.
The only thing that scares me about if I was a Titans fan is that they seem to put themselves behind late in the game, where the last couple of games they've had to try to make a comeback to win the game. And obviously it's going to happen sometimes, but look at, they played the Steelers. They couldn't pull it off. They missed the field goal. That stuff's going to happen. They have to put themselves in a position where you have Derrick Henry get a lead early and then start running that ball. You can't battle from behind every single game and expect to pull off a win, especially against, solid teams.
Agreed. You just can't. You've got to play the entire 60 minutes, just dominate and win. And as far as the other parts about who would you, where did I rank them in the AFC? Probably second. Honestly, I think you can't dethrone the Chiefs just yet. I can't think of another team. Like we already said, the Steelers are good, but I don't put them on that level yet. So I'm probably going to put them at number 2 in the AFC.
The top teams in the AFC, it's going to be tough to come out of that. Whoever comes out of the AFC is probably we consider the favorite.
Yeah,
like you said, you got the Chiefs, the Steelers, the Titans. You have the Ravens, who obviously underperformed last year and aren't looking as great this year, but they're still going to be one of those.
They're still the Ravens, yeah. The perennial good team. I wonder what that's like. What was I going to say? And as far as who they give the MVP to, it's tough to take it away from a quarterback, but that entire offense is thriving off the run game. Like you kind of got to give it to Derrick Henry. Like I'm still waiting to hear when Josh Norman's going to return back to earth after that stiff arm. Like I think he's still in low orbit.
Hey, no trashing any Coastal alumni on this show.
Well, you know what? I got some beef with them. I'm not gonna lie. Got some beef after that whole Odell thing.
Yeah. Hey, that was just pure entertainment anyway.
It really was.
But
it's like
look at a guy like Tannehill too. Tannehill though, that was like thrown away by the Dolphins, just comes to the Titans in his career and resurrected. He looks amazing. And
I'm sure the Finns dude will back me on this because I hear it from him all the time.
It was a late hit.
The reason he was bad on the Titans was Adam Gase. Like same guy who's derailing the Jets, who I don't understand how he keeps getting head coaching jobs.
Peyton Manning gouges for him. Apparently says he's one of the best offensive minds.
Like Peyton, just stop. We all know it was you. You're pulling audibles at the line.
Peyton, right at this point in his career, needs to stick to his commercials and just like keep opening up Papa John's.
Yeah.
But I don't know. The Titans are definitely a scary team that I would not want to. I would not want to see. I don't know if they can hang with the Chiefs though. If you get it down to the Chiefs, that kind of takes. I
don't think anyone can.
No, I don't know. It's tough to say though. The Chiefs look a little vulnerable sometimes, but then they come back and just crush a bad team like the Broncos and prove why they are the Super Bowl champions. So.
Yeah.
AFC is going to be an interesting finish, to say the least. A team that will not be finishing the top of the AFC is the feature point of our next question.
Well, the Jets won a game this season.
I gotta look at the rest of what games do they have remaining? Can you bring that up?
I'm gonna go with no. Just based on the simple fact that yes, I know they were beating the Bills 10-0, but they just can't move. They can't move the ball. Like there's only going to be more injuries for this team. They have no one on their team. They got rid of arguably their most talented player, Le'Veon Bell.
Well, because they couldn't use him. It was pathetic. Like, how do you not know how to use?
It's going to be a tough road the rest of the season.
If me and Matt made any good predictions, it was our Jets predictions.
You want to hear?
Yeah, go ahead. Let's hear the schedule.
All right, they got the Chiefs next, Patriots, Chargers, Dolphins, Raiders, Seahawks, Rams, Browns, and Patriots to end the season.
So I heard an interesting conspiracy theory in regards to Week 17 Jets and Patriots.
Ooh,
let's say that the Jets are in contention for the number 1 pick, and they just need to lose that last game.
You think the Patriots would give it up just to screw them out of it?
I think so.
Oh,
I think so. Do you imagine if that happened? Belichick's like, you know what? We're playing the practice squad.
Could you imagine if they've already got somehow a playoff spot secured? I wouldn't be shocked.
Like they end up winning the game somehow, and like imagine that. Like I could just see them just kneeling the ball. The Jets just start kneeling the ball every single play. Week 17.
Yeah, just do whatever they can.
You don't want to get that number 2 pick.
Gase probably isn't even that smart though. They'd end up
like we're gonna win this one.
And he'd find a way to fuck up with Trevor Lawrence. Like he would find a way to ruin his career. It's absolutely insane to me. But I didn't realize how few teams have actually gone 0-16 or just lost every single game. We've got the 1960 Dallas Cowboys went 0-11-1, which doesn't count as a full undefeated season in my book. You tied a game. The 76 Bucks went 0-14. 82 Colts went 0-8-1. I'm guessing that was a shortened season. 2008 Lions, infamously Calvin Johnson's first year, the true GOAT, 0-16, and the 2017 Cleveland Browns. So are we going to see the 2020 Jets just fuck their fans? I mean, it's very possible.
Yeah, I don't think they're going to win a game the rest of the season unless that conspiracy theory comes true. That would be just unreal if
we'd be on the phone, I think, immediately following that. Like, can you believe?
I can only imagine. All right. But before we get into our talk about Big Blue, let's get a word from our sponsor.
Why Am I a Nerd podcast network has been brought to you by our sponsor, Me Moms. The best breakfast and lunch down the Jersey Shore with 3 great locations in Wall Township, Middletown, and Brick, New Jersey. Me Mom specializes in unique and fun takes on your traditional lunch and breakfast items. Open 7 days a week from 8 a.m. to 3 p.m. You can find more information at www.memoms.com.
All right, these are my notes. The wheels fall off. Fuck Evan Ingram. Dan turnover times. Giants blow
it. Accurate. Oh, the accuracy.
All right, everyone. We are back to talk about our New York Football Giants.
They hate us.
They hate us. One of the worst losses I've seen in a long time, just for the simple fact that we were winning the game by 11 points with under 6 minutes to play.
And this is what the Eagles always fucking do to us. They always find a way to make these miraculous comebacks, and our offense and defense are completely hapless to respond.
Yeah. I don't know. This kind of changed my whole viewpoint about the season because, like, I thought if we won this game, we could build on this win, move forward in the season. There's just too many things that happened during this game, especially at the end of the game, that kind of like brought you back down to earth, and we're like, this is the same thing we've been seeing for year after year after year, where we just can't make the little plays or stop ourselves from making those little mistakes that help us win these games. And we keep losing these close matchups, and we keep saying we're just like a play away. The Steelers game, we were 1 play away. This game, we were 1 play away. Until we start making these plays, we're always going to be 1 play away and just be a bad football team. It's
just, nobody wants to live like that. Nobody. Like, thank God we've at least got 1 win under our belts.
Right.
You know what I mean? That will take some of the sting off the season, but this is a rough year. I feel bad for Judge. I feel bad for Saquon. I feel bad for Jones. You know, I
Yeah.
don't feel bad for though. Evan fucking Ingram.
Yeah. Evan Ingram is that guy that we've heard for every single year. He has so much potential, so much potential. You know, he's going to be the next, you know, whoever he's going to be. And it's year 4. He's gone through 3 different offensive coordinators, which is not his fault. But when there's 3 different offensive coordinators and they can't figure out how to use the guy, you know,
Thumbs up, yeah.
it's like, who's the problem? It's not, obviously the offensive coordinators couldn't get the job done, but when you have a talent, quote unquote talent,
An alleged talent,
alleged talent, every year we hear this, it's just ridiculous. Like, not that his one play, probably, if he makes that catch, that gives us a way better chance to win the game.
Yep.
Obviously, you don't know any other play that's going to happen after that, but it's not just that play. I mean, if we go to, you know, I go to my notes here, the second quarter, I mean, yes, Dan Dimes threw a fucking bullet, but it did hit Evan Ingram right in the hands. And what happened? It bounced off those hands, those old reliable hands, and bounced right into the hands of a Eagles defender, which led to another turnover for Dan Dimes, who's at this point 2 turnovers in the game. Dan turnover Jones.
Yeah.
So, I mean, I don't know. There's so many little things that the Giants just keep doing over and over. And, you know, Evan Ingram, every year we say, like I said, we say the same thing about him and nothing changes. It's always the same thing. Like, how much longer are we going to just keep this guy around? You know, I think this is it. This is it. If we can get something for him on the trade market, we have to do it. You got to get rid of him. He's going to get paid $6 million next year.
Yeah. There we get his 3rd round pick.
That's more than George Kittle, and George Kittle is a beast.
It's nuts.
Back to the first quarter, though, the Giants have the past 2 games before this started off with a bang, and they've gotten off to great starts in the first quarter where they gave you like, wow, we're actually playing pretty well, and then they would die off. This was kind of the opposite, where the Eagles just drive right down the field, easy as can be, and they get a 1-yard touchdown run from Wentz. And when that happened, I was like, oh, God.
You got to be kidding.
This is going to be a long, long game. Did you see the whole fake punt thing where
I actually missed that.
Ballantyne's like wide open on the outside. There's no one there to even block him. And I guess people were making more jokes like, hey, Judge was a special teams coach. You know, that's the opportunity to throw the ball out there and get a first down. What ended up happening was they actually pinned the Eagles down in their 10-yard line. They get the ball back, and Dan Dimes actually makes a touchdown pass to Golden Tate. But I think it was more on Golden Tate to make that play, get us in the end zone, and tie game. We're back in it.
Yeah.
Back to the second quarter where we make a fucking awful turnover off Evan Ingram's hands, and it's like that. We talked about it last time. I'm waiting for that Dan Dimes turnover every single game. You're just waiting.
At this point, like, what else are you?
You're just waiting for him to turn the ball over. It's inevitable.
Spanos.
Another guy we need to talk about is Andrew Thomas. I did not want to say this, but at this point, I want to give him a chance, but I think he's rated, and I don't know if you look it up. This Pro Football Focus, I'm pretty sure has him rated as the worst left tackle in football right now.
Yeah, I think it's time to put him on the right and give Parrott a shot, whatever his last name is.
I agree. If we're not, I mean, look, at this point, obviously the division sucks, but still, we need to get these guys some reps. I'm not going to give up Andrew Thomas. I don't think he is Eric Flowers 2.0, but when you take him with the 4th pick in the draft, the guy needs to perform. Like, you can't be the worst tackle in the league. That's
like,
that doesn't help us.
It's not okay.
No. And
especially the guard, do something, give him the chance, but like, something's got to change.
And all the way down the line, I mean, like, even Will Hernandez looks terrible. I mean, you got Fleming on the right side. He's not much better, but Andrew Thomas is just it's such a disappointment. And, this will get
because he was supposed to be the safest pick.
Right. And it's the 4th pick in the draft. Like, you can't miss these opportunities to pick these guys.
Which is why Gettleman should be fired again. But
right. And I keep trying to go around the Giants got players aren't making plays, but when you go back to who put them on the team, who drafted them, it does go back to Gettleman.
Yep.
My concern, and we talked about this previously, is everyone out there in Giants Twitter, everyone in Giants Nation saying, hey, let's make trades. Let's trade these guys to get picks. Everyone at the same time is also saying, fire Gettleman, fire Gettleman, fire Gettleman. They haven't fired Gettleman yet, and they're going to start making trades. Why are we going to have this guy that we all want gone make these decisions for our team for the future if he's not going to be a part of it?
Exactly. It makes zero sense.
And I don't even know. I don't know. It's just a shitty situation to be in as a Giants fan, because they should be taking, advantage of this opportunity to get rid of this guy when none of the guys he drafted or has stuck with are performing.
Yeah, and it's just we need to get a head start on who's going to be the next guy. I don't want this to be another Pat Shurmur situation where we need a new coach and he's just the last guy left. So it's something that they really gotta act on. Could you still hear me there?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay.
And so where we're at in the season right now, we're going to week 8. It's halfway through, almost through our games. I don't know where I feel the Giants should even do. I mean, I think this is the time. If we're not going to contend, this is a decision we're going to have to make is, are we going to stick with Dan Jones? If you look at Josh Allen, I guess Baker Mayfield too. Sam Darnold hasn't done really much in his year with the Jets. But if you look at a lot of young quarterbacks, like Josh Allen, for example, he's made a giant jump from last year to this year. When you look at Dan Jones, he's making the same exact mistakes every single week. And I don't want to give up on the guy because obviously he's he does have talent. You do
He's
see
good.
flash.
Yeah, it's just
I don't know if is it the offensive line? There's all these things you can look at, but some of the decisions he makes, you're just like, what are you thinking? That don't involve anyone else but him. And I think as Giants fans, for the rest of the season, is Dan Jones our guy? Because if we finish the season contending for one of those top picks, I think we're going to have to make a choice. Are we going to take another quarterback? Are we giving up on Dan Jones? I mean, you have Trevor Lawrence. You're going to have, unfortunately, this would be a worst case scenario for you. Would be draft Justin Fields from Ohio State.
Be sick to my stomach.
But
I was actually allergic to that question before you even asked. That's why I was sneezing.
But at this point, what do we do? We have to evaluate who we want to be on this roster. And if we're not going to keep Dave Gettleman, we need to play all the young guys. We need to put in Pert. We need to, whoever's available, we need to stick with them. We need to trade whoever is a valuable asset that is not going to be part of the future and get some kind of value for them right now.
Yeah, blow up the roster and get it back.
Do you think there are any tradable assets on this team?
I don't want to name the one that makes sense here. Because I would be absolutely horrified and devastated. So I won't even put that into the air. But I do think we have some pieces. I think it's not fair to do that, though, without a new GM in place. It doesn't make sense. What they're doing is another ass-backwards move, and that's how we got in trouble in the first place, because they wanted to fire Coughlin but not fire Reese. Then they fired Reese, and, we got Gettleman in there, and we kind of got screwed on the last minute with Shurmur because, they didn't make moves in time. So it's just we keep seeming to do these backwards motions where I'm like, just you get rid of Gettleman now, bring somebody new in, see if they want to keep Judge, if they want to keep Jones, and then go from there. Yeah,
I agree. And the one thing that I'm really worried about is that Gettleman is still there. You know, after that last loss, that should have been
he's supposed to be in a short leash this year. How short is this fucking leash? It's crazy.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those leashes that you thought it was short, but then the dog wants to go across the street, it fucking extends
the dog's a
30
town
feet.
over.
Yeah, seriously.
It's crazy.
Animal control. He's getting put in the pound at this point, and then they just let him out for free and let him do whatever the fuck he wants.
Pretty much, he's shitting on porches. Like, what is happening?
But that's what worries me. Like, everyone's saying, he's on a short leash, he's going to get fired. Like, then why is he still here making trades, trading our players, trading Golden for a 6th-round pick, which, is fine. Like, let's get value if we're not going to sign the guy long term. But, he's still here. And that means, for me, I don't think he's going to get fired this year at this point.
Yeah. It's a damn shame.
If that happens, it's going to be really, really hard to watch this team next year if he keeps bringing in, using his scouting department and bringing these guys that just aren't, top of the line players and aren't going to develop long term.
Yeah.
So what do you think we should try to find out the rest of the season at this point? Let's say Gettleman doesn't get fired. Like, are we just hoping they win games? Are we hoping they get a high draft pick?
I think at this point we don't deserve to win more games. You know what I mean? If we do, we're just going to be doing us a disservice. And I always want to see the Giants win. I hope to see them compete. I want to see them keep that fire under Judge. But, looking intelligently, we do not stand to gain anything from winning games. So, like, I can't tell them to lose. I don't want them to lose because, like, that just does so many bad things for a team's mentality. They need to stay competitive and fight, but at the same time, if we win these games, we lose out on draft potential, and like we need everything we can get at this point. But like it's tough to say that definitively either way, because if we somehow get stuck with Gettleman another year, then what the fuck is the difference? Because it's not going to matter. So Mara needs to step up. Is really what it comes down to. Mara needs to step up and make a decision here.
I agree, and I think. I don't have to pray to Mr. Tom Brady, but on the Monday night game, if the Giants don't show up, and
I didn't even realize that was a Monday night game.
Yes, if they don't show up and they get blown out by these guys, which is at this point the way the Buccaneers are playing, very realistic. Also, it could be Antonio Brown's debut,
and
it's going to be dangerous.
It's even worse because we had a mini bye week.
Yeah.
Like they had extra time to prep for this game. I don't see it going well for us. I really don't. These are not the Giants of old that gave Tom Brady nightmares and fits. Like, I don't know.
I don't know either. And it's if Gettleman is still with us after this game, after you watch this offensive line just get destroyed by Tampa Bay, it's going to be worrisome for Giants fans. I mean, why are we even going to wait any longer?
Exactly. Like, what are we pulling for here?
And I didn't want to end on a bad note, but we're talking about Giants football in the NFC East, and it just hasn't been good this year. That's just the reality of it. But if there's one thing I know, the one that can lift us up, Matt, just tell them where they can find us.
If you were not sure or you haven't been paying attention, you can find us. As always, we're going to spell it out for you just in case you were not paying the fuck attention. You can find us on Instagram at Why Am I a Nerd Official? That's with a WHY, an AM, an I, the letter A, Nerd Official. On Facebook and YouTube at Why Am I a Nerd? Spelled the same way. On Twitter at that's the number 4, THANDWON. I can't really do an N with my hands. Pod. Find us, like, subscribe, everything, because we need it. We appreciate it. We love it. 5 stars, as always, would be greatly appreciated.
Check us out next week, episode number 21, where hopefully we will have a special guest and all utility problems are solved. But I'd like to thank everyone for watching and listening. I'm Sean.
And I'm Matt.
Catch you next time.
Love Our Sports Podcast.
The New York